Welcome to BCB Live, safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. Top of the morning to you.
How you doing, sir?
You know what? Couldn't be doing better, without a doubt. Couldn't be doing any better. Dave, you know, we had your boys lost last night in the NIT championship. Did you watch that? Mister, come on now. You're A&M guy.
Yeah, they lost.
You're an A&M guy. Didn't watch the game. Who they lose to?
I don't
They
know.
lost to Xavier on the last second shot. A&M was coming back. They had an 8-point lead at halftime. Good game, phenomenal game. I'm going to call some pretty poorly reffed game. However, last second shot with no time on the clock. They missed about an 8-footer in and out, and I thought it was in, and they lose the game. So we have the 45th or the 46th best team in the nation, Xavier, wins the NIT. They win the championship. That's a good thing, though. Let me tell you, the NIT is fun. It's usually one of those teams that were right there on the verge of making it to the NCAA championship. They just didn't get there, but they're right there, and usually those teams will do fine the next year, and they get a few more games under their belt. So,
they get to practice, get to play, but it's competitive, right? The NIT very
it's
competitive.
Freaking crazy. I mean, it's still good games.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. So, yeah, great games. We get to see a lot of players that get to play their last game too. So it's an emotional thing all the way around. And we work our way up to the Final Four, Drive Safe, Dave. And I can't remember where we are. I know we do our own little polls and all these things. We do some brackets together.
I think I'm right next to you.
All I know is you're under me. It's all I know.
I'm right. I don't even know. I know. I'm looking at the points thing, and I'm thinking, are we about the same?
We're not about the same, Dave. Well, first and second place, right? Well, I was always right there. You know what? You didn't win. And you know what? It just goes to show
it's
that
not over yet. I mean, we're still.
It's pretty much over.
It's not over yet.
It's pretty much over. Sir Rick, once again, is going to come out on top. And if for some reason I don't win, we'll never hear about this story. Right? It'll never make the news. We'll never hear about it.
I'm sure. It'll be It'll be a big secret.
Hey, Dave, did you see the article? I know you did, but it's about animals, right? It's about who can beat what.
I was looking at
all
that.
Of these animals. And Dave, here we go. So let's just start, and it's like mano-a-mano.
Yeah.
Hand in hand, no weapons allowed. Can I beat this animal? And the mano-a-mano part, Dave, it starts off with like a rat.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, first of all, who couldn't beat a rat? And it was only like 80%, 78% of the people said, I can beat the rat up, hand it. I'm thinking, everybody could beat a rat, could kill the rat.
Yeah, can kill it, stomp on it, do whatever. But and you have a little bit, you're more muscle, more weight, bigger. But the whole idea is Americans were polled on if they could take on an animal of different in the wild, just barehanded. Just if you could take the animal. Only 72% thought they could take a rat. And I'm just saying, I think we could take a rat.
You know what? I'm just saying that, that's just the activity we see. Just a lot of people don't know what a rat is. Probably they're used to playing on. Oh no! Did you see the rat on the game?
Goose.
This
goose was one of them.
Well, I've lost to a goose before.
Okay, now wait a minute.
I'm going to go right now. I'm 0-1 versus a goose.
No, you weren't like life threatened with a goose. But I'm telling you, what are they going to hurt you with?
You know what?
The flat feet or the beak?
So here you go. So let me tell you my goose story. I'm going to tell you how I was 0-1. So we're in Ohio right now, and this is Big Blue and myself. We're doing some charity golf thing up in Ohio, and it's raining, and it's miserable, and it's like May, and it's baseball season there, and it's cold and rainy, miserably cold, and that's why I'll never go to Ohio. It's crazy cold there, crazy miserable. So here it is, Drive Safe Dave. We're on the golf course, and this is it's a charity golf event. I got my pants on because it's cold, but I also have golf pants on. And for some reason, we're driving down, and Big Blue spots out there because he's West Texas guy, big hunter. He spots for anybody else. Yo, Rick, up there, we have some goose, some Canadian geese up there, up ahead. Let's get it. I'm saying, you know what? I'm all in. You know what?
Bad choice.
No.
Bad
I'm like
choice.
this guy right here. I'm thinking I can take the goose on. So here it is, Dave. We're going down, and I'm hanging out like this. And the goose is like I'm telling you, Dave, it's right here. I'm getting ready to grab the goose. I'm hanging on, and Big Blue hits the brakes. He hits the brakes, and I fly out. And I'm going, kadoosh. I bet I flipped over 8 times. I land on my back, and I'm just got mud all over me. And I remember laying there, and I remember flipping, Dave. I remember flipping, thinking, "Don't break anything. Just don't break anything." And,
been there,
and
done
I
that.
land on, and I'm on my back, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm alive!" And yeah, so I'm 0-1 against the Goose. I'm telling you, Big Blue got me good on that one.
I think
Slammed
you're
the brakes
0-1
down.
against Big Blue.
No, that's against the Goose. It was me and the Goose right there. So yeah, 0-1, Drive Safe Dave. They talk about alligators, crocodiles. They talk about king cobras. And which of those larger animals do you feel comfortable? What's the greatest animal on that list that you could take? The biggest one. Where does it stop?
I'm going to go with probably the dog or the eagle. That's about it. Above that, king cobra, not interested. Gorilla, crocodile, wolf.
So hold on a second. Are you taking the eagle? I'm not saying you're in a room like this against the eagle. I'm saying it's you and the eagle in the wild. The eagle can just, you're looking around and you don't know when it's going to come. Daylight, nighttime.
I
It's
get
you
it.
versus the eagle. I think the eagle freaking just
I don't
takes you
think
off
it-
one chunk at a time. Comes
I-
down like swoops.
He'll get the first hit. I'll give him the first hit, but he doesn't have these. You know, I'll get a hold of him with these. I'm breaking a wing. But I tell you, but the king. But listen to this: 15% of the people think they can take a king cobra.
I don't think the king cobra's that big of a deal. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. You just have to wait your time, right? You got to wait your time for it. You sit there and you watch it, and eventually you just you don't blink.
So just so you know, and you don't blink, and this thing's doing this,
You follow
and
it,
that
guys.
head is like
You
this
follow
big.
it. The head's not going to get you. You got to grab it.
You think
That's all
you're
you
the
gotta
fast
do.
as a mongoose, do you?
You know what? I think I can get it.
Okay.
I just don't think
Here,
the king cobra-
6% think they can take a grizzly.
Yeah, the grizzly's out. And I think how many could take that? How many were taking the goose off?
The goose had 61%.
Yes, I'm going for the cobra all day over the goose. The goose you can't take.
The cobra
You know what?
can kill you.
No, that goose almost killed me. It almost did. Almost took me out.
The cobra can kill you. I mean, and here, what about, who thinks they can take an elephant?
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense.
Who thinks they can take
Right?
an elephant?
I mean, what are you going to do to it? Hand in hand? I mean,
What are you going to crawl up on top of it? What are you going to, if you'll let you?
poke its eye out? I mean, what are you going to do? One at a time? How many years would that take?
God, the trunk alone would just brush you away or stomp on you.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know,
And the lion.
I wonder how many drinks were involved in this poll too. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
The more you drink,
the braver
you got.
Yeah,
Oh,
hold
yeah.
my beer. I got him.
Hey, Drive Safe Dave, I know we have an interview today, and it's going to be a little bit, I know we have that phrase that pays, but first and foremost, I know we have to introduce our new sponsor today. Dave, take it away. Do you know it?
Utility Pro Wear.
There you go.
Utility Pro Wear right here. And Rick is sporting the Utility Pro Wear. That it highlights not only the safety, but it is comfortable, durable, fits well. And let me tell you, this not only protects you against grime, grease, it wears well, feels great. I'm telling you, this is what you need to be out there to be safe, wearing what you need out there on the yard, out there on the truck stop, or wherever it is you need to be seen. Look at him right here. You got it.
Hey, chicks dig it. I'm just telling you.
Digging
Chicks dig it.
chicks.
Hey, Drive Safe Dave, we'll be back in just 60 seconds with the interview. All right here on BCB Live. It's the safest station in the nation.
It's Think Twice Bryce here, and I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Shannon, and she is a tanker driver that specializes in hazmat waste. So, Shannon, go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Shannon Riffle. I have been driving for about 13 years total. The last 5 or 6 years, I've been doing the haz waste bit of trucking, and it has its challenges, good days and bad days, just like everything else.
We will get into those.
Oh yeah, every day.
It looks like you're in your truck right now.
I am. I just got off not too long ago.
Oh my goodness, so you're just fresh off of the scene.
Yes.
Well, let me go ahead and dive into our first question. So, how did you get into trucking, Shannon, and then specifically tanker driving?
Well, originally I was an auto worker about 13 to 15 years ago when GM had all of that bit with laying off and whatnot. And I was actually in a Chrysler plant making GM parts of all things. And I needed a job with longevity, and I was one of the lucky few that qualified for a grant through a state to redo your schooling or learn a new trade. And I actually chose trucking, and it was a trade that I really haven't thought about, and I thought, why not? You know, it sounds like a lot of fun, and it has been fun over the years. So yeah, that's how I got started. I didn't do tankers until about 5 years ago. Drive-in was getting incredibly boring, and my other job had let me go. So I thought, well, let's do something that I haven't done before. It'll look good on a resume. So, and it stuck.
It was a good decision to make.
Absolutely, it was. The opportunities that I get to do, and the equipment that I get to run, it's one of those things that not everybody gets a chance to do it. And it's one of those that people are kind of leery about, but it's really one of my favorite trailers to pull. It's really easy once you get to learn it.
Well, let me ask you, Shannon, what was the training like to work in the hazmat waste?
Well, most of the training that you're going to get is hands-on, but we do have the classroom material. It's about 2 to 3 days, depending on how what's the word I'm looking at? How focused it actually is. And we do the more focused part of it because we're handling this stuff, and it can be pretty dangerous at times. But about 3 days of classroom, and the rest of it was hands-on.
Do you feel like that was do you feel like that was you felt prepared then to go into hands-on, doing it in person, the real deal?
Actually, that's how I learn the best. I'm visual, and I kind of have to do it myself to get used to it. So for me, it worked incredibly well. So, I mean, just how do you do this? How do you do that? What do you not do? Things like that.
Just learn from experience.
Learn from experience. Right, exactly.
So Shannon, do you feel safe in your job handling these chemicals and waste?
I definitely do. My employer, they actually hand us the safety equipment, what we need. And, a lot of the places that we go into, they're going to be straight up with you. You're going to need a hard hat. You're going to need safety glasses. And we need you to wear the suit, the Tyvek suits that you guys see. They come in different colors. But it's rare that happens. But, if we need it, we have that stuff. So, and we're told right away what to look for, what not to look for, that sort of stuff. So we are prepared. And I really haven't felt any not really comfortable at all, but I know exactly what I'm getting into.
You are experienced for sure, it sounds like.
I've had a few where it was kind of crazy, but we figured it out. It's trial by error, some of the stuff. So, if you learn quickly and you're quick to adapt and you're flexible, you'll do fine in this. Excuse me.
Well, this kind of leads into my next question is, with the PPE you were talking about, do you feel that it keeps you protected for your line of work, or do you think there needs to be some changes to better suit you?
Actually, the PPE I wear is perfect for what
Awesome.
I need. With the thing that I'm doing right now, I do a lot of dropping and hooking, so I'm not actually doing the physical aspect of it anymore. A hard hat and reflective wear will get it done. So it's not as intensive as it used to be. But for the most part, yeah, it definitely protects me.
Good. Yeah, we actually just had a recent interview with Amy Rusa. She is the co-founder of Iowa Women in Safety, and her whole everything she advocates for is safety PPE that is designed for women and better fits and better suits a woman's body, because men's clothing and PPE just doesn't do the same.
Absolutely. I wear a special kind of hard hat because I have such a small head.
Yeah.
I have a hard time finding a hard hat that actually will stay on my head. And the FR suits that we're sometimes required to wear, it's all in guy sizes, and I'm 5'4". I'm not 6'2". And I happen to be a bigger girl. I'm a 16, 18 in women's, and it kind of gives you an idea of what I'm looking at, being short and having, wider hips, wider white legs, things like that. I find that sometimes I'm having to tuck everything in so I don't trip over everything, but definitely the gloves too. I have small hands.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find something that works. That's one of the challenges. But I have what I need. I've kind of made it my own, if you will. But yeah.
Done your own little alterations.
Yeah, absolutely. You learn how to tuck in, use duct tape or whatever it is you gotta do so you're not putting
just make
yourself
it
in harm's
work.
way. In fact,
But
my hard hat has a chin strap, so it stays on my head. But things like that will go a long, long way.
Yes, whatever you can do to protect yourself. I'm 5'2", so I completely understand the height issue there.
Definitely.
Right. So Shannon, tell us, what kind of waste do you usually handle?
Right now, we do a lot of chemicals that are used in cement plants. I believe they call it alternative fuels. I don't really know that much about it. However, they burn it off to create the concrete, I believe. And we do a lot of that right now. It's a lot of different mixtures of chemicals, and we take it to be processed elsewhere. But I've done everything from sewer water to used sulfuric acid. That one was a fun one. But for the most part, I do a lot of the alternative fuels right now.
So let me ask, why was the sulfuric acid, you said that one was fun?
It was fun because that was the one where we had to go in a full suit, including booties. And
oh my goodness.
I'm 5'6" in kids. That's a 7.5, 8 in women's. And they don't make the booties for the smaller women. And we had to wear a full respirator. This is the full mask and everything. And it was in the middle of summer. It was
my
hot.
Goodness. And that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We think we loaded about 200 gallons, and it took us about 45 minutes to do that. And it was very, very critical that we did everything the right way and made sure that everything was contained. So we were kind of on high alert. It was the first time I'd been in there. It was a new customer. And when it's a new customer, everything is just, you have a whole bunch of what ifs. Not to be pessimistic, but got to be prepared for the worst.
Yes.
So luckily, everything worked out smoothly. But loading it was fun. We didn't know what was going to happen. This came off the ammunitions base too, so it was one of those high clearance areas as well.
I think a lot of people don't realize what happens behind the scenes with these wastes and what happens in the ins and outs and the in-betweens with them, and people like you are the ones that are having to handle it safely.
Right. Not many people do it, and not many take it into perspective on who does it, who's going to be coming in to do it, because we used to do the things that nobody else would do.
Right.
We had special licenses and things like that. But that's primarily what we do, though.
Now, Shannon, how many women have you seen in your line of work?
Maybe 4 or 5. I met one at the truck show earlier this week, and we are, not to say that we're rare, but we're rarely seen.
Yeah.
We don't run into a lot of ladies that are doing this. It's not the cleanest, and let me tell you, some days you're going to be wearing some nasty stuff if you don't watch what you're doing. I used to get dirty just hooking up materials to get everything into the trailer and whatnot. It's not a glamorous job, but I really thrive at it because I like doing it. I like doing things that nobody else can do. So that means getting dirty. It is what it is.
I bet you look
So,
forward to that shower when you get home.
oh my goodness, you have no idea. I've actually had it to where I just stayed in the shower for about an hour and didn't realize it was an hour. But yeah, only a handful of women I've actually met. I think I am the only tanker driver of my company right now that's female.
Really? That's why I
Right.
was so excited to hear about getting in contact with you, because I was like, there isn't a lot of women
No,
doing tanker driving.
not doing the tanker part. We do have quite a few doing the van work, and
Right.
usually it's double checking the paperwork, making sure it's right. You have the compatibilities to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of technical information and a lot of moving parts, but not ones that actually do the loading and unloading as far as the trailer is concerned, and
Mm-hmm.
certainly not with tankers. There's only a
For
handful
sure.
of us.
Well, another question I have for you is, can you kind of give us an example or two of like what are some of the regulations that you have to follow when you're handling these wastes?
Well, first of all, we have to have the paperwork that is correct. And we also have to have a hazmat guidebook, emergency response guide. It has to be with every load. That's typical of any haz waste load. But with a flammable, if you're pumping on or off, it has to be grounded, certain feet away from different things. Let's see. Most of it is PPE, making sure you wear your PPE
That's a big
when
one.
it's applicable. It's pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just be really aware of what your surroundings are. I've had to tell several drivers when fueling, please stop your engine. I have flammable on. I really don't want anything happening. Although I know that the rarity of it, something actually happening, is very slim and none.
There's a chance.
There's a slim chance. Yes.
Yeah. There's just a whole list of regulations.
The regulations aren't too bad. I guess I take it for granted. I deal with them daily.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's, the main things is the placarding, make sure it's correct, make sure they're
Mm-hmm.
visible in the paperwork. We have a lot of shippers that don't know how to process the paperwork or even give us the paperwork. Sometimes it's incomplete. We don't have certain numbers. It's in wrong. We can't accept them. And it's basically a matter of education and knowing what to do with it. That's what they train us for. That way we're letting them know, hey, this has to be corrected and this has to be done a certain way. But I mean, other than that, the regulations are about the same. We do not do major cities. You usually have to go around the belts due to
Okay.
something should happen. It's
Mm-hmm.
contained, not in the general population.
Right.
Certain things with flammables, we have to stop at railroad tracks. We have a flat tire, and we have to stop immediately. There's no going to a truck stop. We have to stop and risk of a fire. If it gets hot and it might start a fire, that sort of thing. No smoking, and that does mean including the driver's seat, as some
Yes.
drivers had to find out the hard way. I'm not a smoker, so it hasn't really affected me any. But little things like that get to where you gotta really watch. You really watch what you're doing.
Right.
So it's not too awful bad.
Well, with these regulations, although it seems like you do follow it on that you're on a tight ship with them, have you ever had an issue with like a waste discharge or spill while you've been working in hazmat waste?
I did have one at a customer, and it was actually my fault. We were doing a vacuum job with a tanker, and we let everything go thinking it had basically suction, and it did not. We made a mess, but ultimately it was contained, so it wasn't that awful bad. When in transit, we did have one. However, we were able to control it and get it to the customer before it was really, really bad. I mean, I just noticed it and it was kind of hurry up and get there before it gets really bad. They overloaded me and the product had expanded is what happened. So after that, we stopped going to that customer.
It doesn't help right now with the driver shortage as well. Drivers are getting too much put on them, and it can lead to accidents happening.
It can, but as long as you follow the rules, slow down, do everything in a routine. I found that I usually don't miss anything if I do it in a routine, making your checks, making sure everything's normal, that sort of, as normal as we can be, because a lot of places we go to will not allow us to actually go on top of the tanker and check to make sure everything's tightened there. So usually when we get to an area where we're able to climb up, we will tighten that stuff up, make sure. But they do a really good job of making sure everything's tight and ready to go for us. So, just double check everything. And it's routine. You just do it every day, like clockwork. It's like clocking into your job, a normal job,
Yes.
that sort of thing. You have normal functions that you do. But it's just about the same thing. Just make sure it's routine.
You fit in perfect here, Shannon, though, because our guys are all about safety. So you just check off the list when it comes to that.
Yes, every day. The company I'm with we do a lot of things that are safety oriented and make sure we're safe. If we have a problem, we make a phone call, it's worked out or fixed or something of that nature to where we're not in harm's way at all. We're definitely safety first.
That's good, especially putting the driver first.
Absolutely. They're fantastic about that.
Now, Shannon, my last question for you, and I feel like the most important is, with there not being a lot of women in the hazmat waste industry, what would you say to encourage more women to join?
Actually, I would say come on over, do your research on who you want to get it with. It's not really a bad field to get into. You're going to have trouble because you're short. Some things are meant for men that are taller. I had issues with roll-offs, but I figured it out. I got creative with what I had. The mantra, use what you have. Well, I did that and tried different things along the way, and they worked. It's just a matter of trial and error. But if you really wanted to get into the hazmat, it's a fantastic opportunity. It just depends on what you want to do. Sky's the limit. I mean, it's not for everybody, though. It is a lot of work some days. But for me, I no longer have to work that hard. I do dropping hooks. So, but it's a great field to get into because not everybody can do it. You're always going to be in demand.
That's right.
We have a massive shortage of people doing hazmat waste and just hazmat in general. Not many people do it anymore because they think it's not worth it. So we're always looking for drivers. But you have to be open-minded. You have to be able to basically be flexible, work on the fly. Things change in a heartbeat. And that's the biggest thing, too, is you got to be flexible. So, but it's definitely one thing to get into because, again, it's one of those, it's always going to be needed. It's not hard. Yes, it's going to be a little messy, but if you don't mind getting messy every now and then, it's not a bad field at all. I'm actually really glad I took that chance and did it. Granted, I do things the hard way. I'm stubborn, but I did learn.
I am too.
Eventually, I was comfortable with it. So it's just like driving. When you first start out, you're nervous, but then when you try it, it's not so bad. So it's definitely a really good field to get into. A lot of money to be made here.
Yes, and that I'm happy to hear that you're happy with what you're doing, and I really do hope that this.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You can catch the rest of that interview and many, 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 many more. As a matter of fact, all the interviews on YouTube and go to our YouTube page. Just a great way to go back and check out these interviews. They're all good. They're all exciting, and you will learn a lot. One thing I learned, Drive Safe Dave, is that I don't want to be in the hazmat. That's just too much work.
I had a hazmat certification, but I'll tell you what, it is a little bit more endorsement you got to do. You also have to go get your feeder printed. You got to get your FBI.
So it is a process right now just to be a driver on that side. But she brought it up there, and great point on that. Many trucking companies said, and this is going back 6 years ago, definitely before COVID, probably 3 years before COVID hit, is like, you know what? It just doesn't pay enough to haul that extra risk on the hazmat. So what's happened is that so many carriers have gotten out of it, Dave, and now those that are in it, it has truly become, once again, a specialized, specialized business, as it should be, because there's so many more regulations they have to do. They're going to get audited much more than a trucking company with no hazmat certification. And if you're going to pull hazmat, my recommendation, if you're going to do it all the time. Don't just do it every once in a while, or you're going to mess something up.
Yeah, and you know what? And charge accordingly, right? And charge accordingly for your time and stuff like that. I think it is a great market.
Yeah,
but
so charge accordingly. I'm going to encourage you all to go and watch and read again. There's another article out, just came out today. It actually came out yesterday evening. Craig Fuller, CEO of FreightWaves. He's been saying, Dave, and you know what, Craig, we're going to give you credit. I'm sure you know your data. It's your company. However, we've been saying it, I think, longer than you. However, you make some great points. You called some things out last week. A lot of people didn't agree with you on where that market is, Dave. You're talking about charging more. Let me tell you, everything right now says as a shipper, they're getting charged less. Fuel's up. We talked about it yesterday. It's that market, and Craig goes down into a deep dive. Let me tell you something. If you're having a great day, don't read the article today. It will ruin your day. And if you're having a bad day, hey, still don't read it, or have a phone number next to you to call a friend, to phone a friend for a little pick-me-up after that. So it's going into wait for April. How he kind of ends it like, hey, wait for April. You think March was bad? Wait for April.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? There's only one thing that doesn't change with the money. The money keeps growing on the Precip pays.
That's $200.
Drive Safe Dave got something right for a change, and we upped it to $200.
Something right for a change.
So we have $200. We got a little free. Dave, spin it, baby.
All right, let's do it. Click it.
Come on, Vanna. Easy there, killer. Oh, goodness sakes. Here we go, and it goes round and round. Where it stops, nobody knows. Jerry Strevel.
All right, let's see if he's on.
Jerry, here we go. It's a big one here. Phrase it pays $200. Is Jerry on the show?
He's on, but his mic's muted. We'll give him, why don't we give him 10 seconds for him to unmute? All right, 10.
Oh, Dave, while we're counting down.
8, 7,
close. Let's get ready
6,
for spin it just in case.
5, 4.
Go ahead, spin it. That way we're waiting when it gets done.
2,
Jerry,
1.
Great chance, great opportunity. We're moving on. And it is going to Martin Cifuentes.
All right.
Close it. Let's kick it again. Martin, ¿dónde estás, hombre?
He's not on here.
No Martin
I believe
Cifuentes
not.
today.
Nope, he's not on here.
All right. Well, you know what? Last but certainly not least, at try number 3, it is Fred Hobson. Fred, are you on? Fred, do you want some extra cash in your pocket today?
Right.
I think Fred's not. I don't think. Fred.
All right, I guess we've moved up to $300. Strike 3, right?
You know what?
Yeah, he's not on.
Just $300. Drive Safe Dave, for those that are watching it, and you don't get it.
Oh, wait. Galaxy S10, let's see. Identify yourself for us.
Identify yourself.
You're muted. Come on, unmute yourself.
Hello?
God, is that you?
Oh, wait. Yep. Talk to us. Oh, we can't.
There he is.
Talk louder. Get closer to the mic.
That's it.
That is it.
What?
That is it. Is that, who is this speaking?
It's Fred.
Is it Fred?
Yeah.
All right, well, he got it.
Fred, we got a $200 winner right there. And I like your strategy, too. Say it so low that we really can't tell if you're saying it right or not. Great strategy.
Hey, and change your name, please, for us. Change your name for us so we can we can identify you for the participation.
There we go. We got to make sure we identify you as well. But Fred, we'll go with you if that was really Fred, or was that that could have just been like an angel out there.
You know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was just like that was not Fred.
That could have been God. I'm telling you, God.
I'm saying that's not Fred, but we're going to send Fred. We're sending Fred the cash.
I like it. Hey, Drive Safe Dave. Tell everybody what that means real quick.
Yeah, basically what it means is here on the Safety Show, if you watch, you participate, and you listen daily, it's going to refresh that passion, refresh that ability to go out there and be safe all the time. So here we are, and you know what? And when you do that, those safety streaks will get longer and bigger, and we will all be winners here and on the road.
Speaking of winners, we have Double Check Dale coming up next with weather, sports, traffic, YouTube, everything coming up next only on BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation.
Loop up in that northwest corner, Jersey Village, you're going to see a definite slowdown there. And then you get into that inner loop again, Hillshire Village, Bel Air, you're going to see some slowdowns there. Coming in from the north on 45, right before you get into that inner loop, big slowdown there. And of course, if you're in the downtown area of Houston, expect some delays there. If you're on the south side of Houston, 45 coming in from the south, right before you get to that 610 merge, you're going to see a slowdown there. Same story on 288 right before you get to that 610 inner loop, slow down there. So Houston looks pretty normal. Just the downtown area is going to be your real trouble spot. Hey, coming back up to Dallas, Fort Worth area. If you're over on the Fort Worth side of life, 820 in the Saginaw area. That's where you're going to see a slowdown. 35W in the downtown area, all the way through north and south of 30 in Fort Worth. You've got major slowdowns on 35W. Coming in from Burleson, that's where the delays start down in the Burleson area, going north, Edgecliff Village on 35W right before you get to that 20 merge. Hey, mid-cities this morning, Bedford has slowdowns, as does Euless up on 183. 30 in the Arlington area. Looks a little bit slow going on to the east side. Coming over to Dallas, 635 loop, your major slowdown is going to be up in that Garland area between 75 and 30 merge points. And then 30 coming in, doesn't look too bad out in Rockwall, a little bit of a slowdown. 80 out in Forney, coming into town, coming into Dallas, going east or going west, you're going to see some slowdowns there. On the south side of Dallas, 45 looks really good this morning, as does 35E. Moving right along to Kansas City. Kansas City, I love doing Kansas City because there's not much traffic to talk about there. It looks really good in Kansas City this morning. Chicago, all the ones out coming in from the west, 90, 88, 55 from the south, 80, all look really good coming into Chicago. Once you hit that 294, that's where you're going to see a little bit of a slowdown in the Bensonville area. And then the closer you get to the downtown area of Chicago, that's where all your traffic and slowdowns are going to be. So if you can stay on that 294 around Chicago, you're going to do a lot better. 8094 over on the Indiana side, south side of Chicago, doesn't look too bad this morning. So overall, Friday morning in Chicago, traffic looks pretty good. Atlanta, hey, coming in from the west, if you're on 20 coming in from the west, yep, you're going to see a slowdown there before you get to that 285 merge point. The loop, 285 south around the south side of Atlanta, looks really good this morning. The only slowdown I see there is right down by the airport. So 285 southbound loop or south side loop looks really good. If you're on 285 on north of Atlanta, north of 20, that's where you're going to see a lot of heavy traffic slowdowns, delays. So Sandy Springs is probably your worst area, right up in there where it merges with 475, and then the 285 merge point on the northeast side of town. Really a big slowdown there. If you're on 20 out in the Stonecrest area, going east or going west, expect some delays there. A little bit of traffic there. And if you're coming in from the south on 75 in that Stockbridge area, 75, 675 merge point is where you see some very heavy traffic and delays. So Atlanta, Friday morning, pack your patience. Nashville, what has Nashville got? A trouble spot in Nashville would probably be the normal 124 coming up from the south. The delays start all the way back in the Stone Ridge area, Antioch, Beverly Heights, all the way to where it merges with 40. 24, very, very heavy traffic from the south this morning. Usual spot of delays, 65, 24 up on the north side of town where it merges. Very heavy traffic with some delays there. East Nashville doesn't look too bad this morning. 40 out in the Mud Tavern area. Some delays on the westbound lanes there, but 40 on the west side of town looks really good. And so Nashville's just not too bad this morning. Hey, if we go to the Washington, D.C. area, 66 out on the west side of town, Idlewood coming in to the Washington, there's a slowdown there. And then 495, that southwest corner of Washington, D.C., Annandale area, both lanes there you see some very heavy traffic, so maybe an accident or something going on there. You get to the north side of Washington, D.C. on 495, that Silver Spring area over to Beltsville. Both directions, very, very heavy traffic there. And then over in the Forestville area on that 95 area between Forestville and Largo, southbound lanes, some slower traffic going on there. As you head north to Baltimore, 95 looks really good this morning. 295 looks good. When you get up to Baltimore, you got really good traffic on the south side of town. Doesn't look like there's any delays on the south side of Baltimore. Get up on the north side on 695 in the Pikesville area, you'll see some delays there. And then over in the Parkville area on 695, also some delays there. Philadelphia, lots of heavy traffic there. 76 from Conshohocken all the way into downtown area, you're going to see some delays and heavy traffic there. That's really probably your major slowdown area is 76. And then 95 going north right there on the PA side, still some slowdowns and delays there. Coming over to the New Jersey side, 295, the Jersey Turnpike going north, looks really good this morning. Indianapolis looks like Kansas City this morning. Really not anything major to talk about there. All the roads coming in look really good, as does the downtown area. So Indianapolis, enjoy the commute this morning. Moving over to weather. Hey, winds have really been the story this week so far. And, we look at the winds this morning and they don't look too bad right now as we look at the gusts and everything. But they will pick up a little bit later today as we go through the day. Let's get rid of those. Do this. As we go through the day, they're going to see they're starting to pick up a little bit out in central Texas. A little bit. There we go. Right there, central Texas up through the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma this afternoon. We're starting to see the winds pick up. The front side of the mountains out in Colorado. So that's going to be the eastern Colorado. Some winds picking up again this afternoon, as in Kansas. And so we'll keep an eye on those. Other areas of higher winds this afternoon are where we'll have to pay attention. And if you're traveling out in the Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia area, the winds start to kick up pretty good this afternoon there also. We slide to about the evening hours, and they do die down really nice around 8 to 10 o'clock. You see the winds have really subsided in most of Texas. Still an area out in the Lubbock. We'll see some high winds this evening, overnight. They do pick up a little bit in Nebraska as we go into tomorrow morning. It doesn't look too bad. The winds, again, have shifted a little bit to the east that were in Texas, Oklahoma. Tomorrow, if you're in the Missouri area running that I-70 from Kansas City to St. Louis, up in Iowa, you may see some winds up there, but East looks a lot better, except for if you're up in the New England states, you've got some high winds going on up there tomorrow. As we go to precipitation, rain and thunder, let's see what we got going on this weekend for precip. Currently, got a little bit of precip out in the higher elevations of Colorado, Wyoming, some rain up in South Dakota and the panhandle of Nebraska. And then the other rain and precipitation we're seeing currently is in the Ohio River Valley, western Pennsylvania and parts of Virginia picking up a little precipitation now. As we go into the afternoon hours, precipitation shifts a little bit. Now we're seeing a possibility of some rain and thunderstorms this afternoon out in the Texas Panhandle, southwestern Oklahoma may see a little bit, Lubbock area. And that blows up through Kansas and Nebraska, and then South Dakota into Minnesota, a little bit of precip. Also seeing a little bit of precip off the Great Lakes area up in Pennsylvania, New York, maybe a little bit into Vermont, but and some showers down in Florida this afternoon. Not a lot of major storms or showers going on this afternoon. As we go to tomorrow, Saturday, what's the weekend look like? This is Saturday morning around 9 o'clock. We see a pretty good band of rain from northeastern Missouri up through westeastern Iowa into Wisconsin. Part of Illinois, we'll see some rain, some mixed with some snow up there. And so nothing major going on. No heavy precipitation or accumulations are expected there. A few showers going through Arkansas and Tennessee. And then Sunday we see some rain and storms up through North Dakota and South Dakota coming down into Iowa. A little bit of lake effect snow up in New York and Pennsylvania. A little bit of snow in the higher elevations of Colorado. But overall, looks like we're going to have a really nice weekend. A little bit of winds in the afternoons, but they do die down. And a little bit of precip, but nothing. We don't see any major storms going on right now. With that, we'll take a short break.
Welcome back to BCB Live, safest station in the nation. Gentlemen, I wanted you to get a look at this. This is what I wore back in the day when we were doing a little bit of gangbanging. I'm going to tell you, Sir Rick, back in the day, not near as nice, but I always seem to get caught. Now it's starting to catch on because these colors right here, you can't get away with anything. Everybody sees you, but just know that this was the choice of colors, and this was my colors.
Well, what gang wore neon yellow?
Yeah,
I'm just going it because I know it's. Which one was that? The safety crew, the yard gang. Which one was that? Who did you run with?
That's for another show. But right now we got to talk about turns with Double Check Dale. Dale.
Hey, we've been talking about turns all week long. How to make the right turn. You want to use that button hook maneuver instead of the jug handle one. Left hand turns how we want to get out into that intersection, the middle of the intersection before we start making that left. U-turns. Just don't do them. Just don't make those U-turns. And yesterday, Bob gave some tips, and today I'm going to give a few more. One of the big things is patience. When you're going to make a turn, whether it's left or right, just be patient. Signal your intentions well in advance. You should have your turn signal on at least 200 feet before you get to that intersection. And then keep looking ahead at traffic. A lot of times, we start making those turns and we start watching and focusing so much on the mirrors that we forget to look ahead and look forward, see if any of the traffic is starting to move. So, just have to have that situational awareness in all turns and be aware of what's going on and keep track of what traffic is around you.
Good point. Really nothing to add off that. Boy, you're just
Yeah,
great
I
job
covered
on
it. Wow, these guys speechless.
We are speechless, but you know what? Will we be speechless after these videos? That's the question. And here we go, video number 1.
Video number 1. You know, we've been talking about winds all week long, and this is an interesting one because when we get up there, there is a lot of debris on the roadway here. Wind blew over a tree right before this driver got there, and you can see the debris. Everybody has to slow down and clear the tree that's on it. Right at the end of the video, talking to the driver, there's a truck and a car pulled over on the shoulder. The tree actually hit them on the way down. He said all the airbags in the car had blown out, took the window out of the truck. And so, I mean, there are hazards
I'm gonna
everywhere.
go situational awareness right here, Dry Safety. I'm going to go fake news. What do you think?
No, I'm gonna say that they probably hit the tree in the road. Maybe as it was already down because not the top, but look how much damage these trees can do. Look at that guardrail. It doesn't matter when they come down. There's no
wind. Look at the trees; they're not even moving.
Well,
the top of the trees. I'm saying, maybe somebody's out there practicing. A little just trying to chop down a tree.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe somebody wasn't paying attention and hit the debris in the road.
Gotcha.
And that's what happened. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I wasn't there, but. When those things come down, they can kill. When those trees, they are powerful.
Yes.
That's a big tree, too.
Them and a bear. You want to
avoid
them both.
I was watching this one, and there's not a lot going on until you start watching the right lane and watch this white Jeep that's coming along. Really probably not paying a whole lot of attention, and boom, just about rear ends. It's about situational awareness.
Put the cell phone down.
Thank you. Exactly.
Put the cell phone down. Golly. I mean, there is nothing here that doesn't say I wasn't paying attention. And I think the Jeep stopped on its own. I mean, I think it hit the brakes on its own. I don't think that.
I don't know. He hit him hard, though. But it was a little closer than he wanted to be.
Great job in the big truck, though. Always doing what's right out there on the road.
Space.
Oh, no. I see rain. I see merge. I don't like anything. What's going on?
In the van, I was talked to the driver, and this van had just passed the driver less than a minute ago. High speeds on a wet road, windy conditions. Went around this corner and lost control of the van and rolled it over. Said he didn't know, speed obviously played part of it. It was a very windy day, the road conditions, and so we have to slow down. We have to be aware of what's going on
that
with it and make
had
adjustments.
Just occurred?
Huh? Yeah, it just occurred.
Okay, I hope 911 was called, and I hope that we did everything we could to help the people in the vehicle, because I don't see them out of the vehicle.
No, this just happened, Dave. I mean, it's raining.
Probably still texting.
Yeah.
It just happened. The wheels were still
raining.
spinning.
Why would you get out of the van? It's raining. I mean,
because it could catch on fire and explode. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Rolled over vehicles do that, and I'm just saying I'd rather get a little wet than burned. I don't know. Go figure. My mentality.
But it's raining. It's gonna wash it all away.
Yeah. Okay.
You have nothing to worry about. You're like the best case. You're good to go. All right. Hey,
upside down in the
slow
vehicle.
Down in the rain.
Best case.
This one should be a stale green light coming up, but it's not. Yeah, it is. Here we go. Get stale green light, and the driver does the right thing. Top
Bam!
God, there you go. Intersections are dangerous.
We've got to get these videos out to not the schools, but to the adults. I'm telling you, Dave, when we
to moms.
Let me tell you, it's when you watch these videos, you see yourself. I'm telling you, in a car right now, the technology needs to be there. When you get home, show me everything you did wrong. No different than what we want to do to the drivers today. Hey, four-wheeler, when you get home, you know what? You got about an hour's worth of videos to watch because of stuff like this, running red lights. It doesn't make any sense. Get off the road, man.
You know what? If we all had an opportunity to see a scorecard, I think the roads would be a much safer place.
Without a doubt.
Well, that's deep.
This video starts out fine, but we get too close to him, or we're tailgating. We do a quick lane change here. The driver does, then comes back over, and I'm not sure if this is just aggressive driving or what. Follows him down the exit ramp and comes back over. So, just not a good piece of driving here. It looks like aggressive driving. Not sure what happened before this, but just slow the chaos down. Just back away from it and don't get involved in this type of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we see a flash there or not as well, but nothing real safe about this video or not. Listen, we've got to practice our patience. You've got to make decisions out there that are right. Listen, that four-wheeler right there that's making a right, perhaps they got in front of you and cut you off. Maybe they did just some bonehead move that made no sense. Let it go. Let it go, because nothing you can do right now at this point makes any sense. It certainly doesn't make any sense on the safety side.
And I'll tell you right now, if you believe yourself to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner on the road, you don't need to be out there doing it. You gotta let things go. You gotta be the consummate professional. You gotta understand how important it is that you be the example, not the problem.
Yeah, I think we flashed them too, right? There was definitely a flashlight. Listen to me, guys. You can't do that. I mean, Dave, we're going to talk about it for one more second here. But listen, I mean, when you find yourself, and part of what you do when you watch these videos is you learn, and I know y'all drive for so many stinking miles out there on the road, so many miles out there, and you're going to have moments like this. We show you these videos because we want to make sure when you find yourself in that situation that somebody has just wronged you. Right? They've wronged you. They've done something
Brake
that,
checked you, driven too
whatever
slow.
it is.
It cut you off too short.
This isn't the right thing to do. Bad things can only happen. I want to make sure you watch these videos and you take that out of that. It says, all right, hold on a second. I remember Drive Safe Dave and Double Check and Sir Rick talking about it. Let me just back off for a second and maybe pull off the road at the next exit. Yeah. Right? Because I'm pretty hot right now, whatever that is. Make sure I take this out later on, because when I'm driving like that, I am driving angry.
Driving angry, and you're making bad decisions, because when you allow your emotions to take over, you are making genuinely bad decisions, and you are not at 100%. You are doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and you've got to find out for yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. I guarantee you, the driver that does something like this is going to go back and be genuinely embarrassed by their own behavior, because they let themselves get caught up in the moment, and we can't let ourselves get caught up in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that was the Chris Rock thing, right? Get caught up in the moment. Here we go.
Okay, this video starts out really good, but we just keep getting closer and closer and closer, and pretty soon we're in a real big tailgate situation in a van, and I know what's happening. We're trying to time that pass. Here comes that van, and now there was no out. Right at the end, there is absolutely no out.
And I'm just going to tell you right now, and I get you're on the, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you slowed down now, you would have been at the right distance, and that vehicle would have passed you sooner than it does right now. So you would have been able to be a lot better off. It's just a defensive driving posture. This is not a defensive driving, what we're doing here. This is trying to time it, and this is trying to wait to the last second. This is not a defensive posture. We want to get in the defensive posture mindset, and that is slowing down early, being prepared to let the vehicle pass, moving out when it's safe to do so, and then returning to speed. These trucks will get back up. I can tell you right now, I bet you this is in Texas, in Houston, or somewhere like coming out of, or coming north or south or something like that.
East or west.
Sure. East or whatever, but I'll bet whatever it is, you got plenty of miles to go before you're going to run a lot of miles today. So a minute or two is not going to matter.
No, it's not. Dave, we spoke with a major truck manufacturer on this, and not just the manufacturer, but Bendex, right?
Yep.
Going over the what we have with technology today.
Closing distance.
And my thing, Dave, and I know many of you drivers are going to say, no, Sir Rick, you're absolutely wrong. But here's my point, is if we have the technology today, and we do, okay, we do have the technology that will not allow you to get that close to a vehicle. If it's never okay at 65 miles an hour to be this close to a driver, why are we allowed to go that close? That's my point. If technology is out there, nobody wants to own it, right? Nobody wants to take over that decision making. However, there is technology that says don't allow them to get that close. And I'm saying, why don't we use it? If it's never, ever safe for this to happen, why do we allow it to happen? Can you name me one time that getting this close is a safe thing to do?
No, sir. No. Not at that speed.
Not at that speed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm not talking the 20 mile to 10. I'm talking at this speed.
Agreed. No, 100%.
And if it's not the safest thing, then why, with technology, when we have it, do we allow it to happen? That's just my question. I don't understand it.
Good question.
All right. Well, and I don't know if we have. Well, we got another video.
Yeah, and this one here, we're in a construction zone. It's 65 miles an hour. We're doing about 70, 71. I mean, it's 65 for a reason. It's not a suggestion, it's the law. Slow it down. If just because everybody else is going that speed doesn't mean you need to either. Be the safest one out there, lead the way, do it the safe way, do it at the speed limit.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk technology a second. For those of you that aren't aware of it, there is so much more technology than was out there, say, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, a year ago, all around safety, that now the cameras see those signs, right? I know the old,
Reads them.
yeah, the GPS units that people that still run those, it just knows that the speed limit's 75. It won't say anything on it. The new units, the new camera, the new technology, it reads that construction sign speed limit and says, hey, FYI, I know it's normally 75 or 70, but it's 55 or 60 right now, and it will ping you and your speed on that. And those are great techniques. I love that because it's about safety. It's about keeping the roads. It's about making the safest decisions when we're on the highway, when we're in the city, anywhere to end, to protect life, to end these streaks that are going across the country right now, to end that streak here in Texas. Hashtag end the streak Texas. Over 21 years of a fatality every day on a Texas roadway. Listen, it has to end. And you, the four-wheeler, you play a big part in that. Get off the phone, put away the distractions, clear your mind, don't drive drunk. For, big trucks, hey, get a little bit more patience. Continue to look out for these four-wheelers, for the pedestrians and all that. Just make the best decision you can. Use technology to help you out. There you go.
Yep. And when we were talking about, listen, we've talked about construction zones. We did a pretty good campaign on construction zones, and there's no reason to speed through these things. You've got to be the leaders out there and control the traffic in the construction zones. I know moving over and slowing down a little bit as you move in there, and when the speed's reduced, there's a reason there are reduced speeds in those construction zones. It's because they are a dangerous place. They are a dangerous place for the workers. They are a dangerous place for everybody because traffic patterns have been changed. The roads are uneven. There might be, whatever the case, they're designed to slow down for a reason. And you need to do that as you enter in and out of these construction zones. And you're going to have a lot of them, Rick, as this bill has been passed. We're going to have a ton of construction zones.
Yep, for certain. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day you give us. Continue to be with the drivers out there on the road. Be with everybody to help us work together and create a little bit more patience. When we find ourselves just getting mad, somebody's wronged us, our distractions are taking over, our minds are wrong, give us that ability to slow it down for a second. Help us be that voice, or put a voice in our, put somebody with us to remind us to be safe. Thank you for the families that you've given us. Thank you for everything. Continue to watch over us. Be with this country. Be with this world. Make us, just help us make the best decisions and learn to love one another. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Everybody listen. Stay safe out there. We're going to see you again on Monday morning. We'll see you this afternoon as well. This is BCB Live. And Dale, what are we?
The safest station in the nation.
Bye, everybody.